Hi, I'm Megan Hickey. This is my fifth book critique. For my first featured book, I decided to choose George Washington, His Legacy of Faith, Character, and Courage. And I chose this book because during a history class I am taking right now, we are focusing on George Washington, so I thought it would be cool to look at a George Washington children's book. And this was written and illustrated by Demi. The genre is informational, biography, and picture. The reading level is 4th grade and up. And this is the interesting book all about the life of George Washington and how he grew up and how his parents met. And it was super cool to learn all about this important historical figure from a children's literature book point of view. For my content area, I have a history lesson plan for the 4th grade. And there are many important dates in this book, and the dates are lands, moving, and war. And I will give each student a worksheet with all the dates. And as they are reading the book, they are in charge of writing down what the date means and what page they find the date on. And this applies to the CCSS Standard of Education. And then for my second literature lesson plan for the 5th grade, and there were actions that George Washington did, and some are said to be myths. So I want the students to research a myth that they find in the book, and then they will make a slide page on it and include all of the information of why it is a myth. And this applies to the Designer SD standard. And then here's my artifact for this lesson, which is the myth, and I have the cherry tree myth. And the myth was created by George Washington's first biographer, Mason Locke Weems, and he really wanted to show Washington's virtue of honesty, so that is how the story came of George Washington cutting down the cherry tree. For my second book, I chose A Child's Guide to First Holy Communion, and this was written by Elizabeth Fiocelli. It was illustrated by Anne Catherine Blake. The genre is picture and informational. The reading level is 2nd grade and up. And this was a very good informational book about a child's first communion. And I would suggest that children who are about to receive their first communion read this book because it really shows the importance of the First Holy Communion and the Last Supper. And it was given the number 56 in Children's First Communion religion books, which is very impressive. For the third book, I chose Song and Dance Man, and I loved this book. It was so fun to read. It was written by Karen Ackerman, and it was illustrated by Stephen Gamble. The genre is realistic fiction and picture. The reading level is 2nd grade and up. And this was a super cute book about a grandpa and his grandchildren who were waiting for dinner, so they decided to go up to the attic and look at all of the instruments, and the grandpa showed the grandchildren how he used to dance and play the instruments. And they found old tap shoes, and they got to play with the tap shoes, and I really enjoyed this book, and I really suggest you read it. And it was given the Caldecott Medal Award. And then the fourth book was by Helen Kedman. It is The Armadillo Tattletale. It was illustrated by Keith Graves. The genre is fantasy fiction and picture. The reading level is 2nd grade and up. And this was a super funny story about Armadillo, and he had tall ears, and they were tall just like a jackrabbit. But the problem was he could hear everything that was happening in the forest. So he could hear all the little secrets that the animals had. And he went and spread all of those secrets to everyone. So finally, all the animals were so fed up that they brought him to Dragon, and Dragon helped Armadillo's ears to become small, and he wasn't able to overhear everything. And then the animals were happy and became his friend. And this was awarded the 2003 Flickr Tale Children's Book Awards of the picture book winner. For my fifth book, I chose Dustin's Big School Day. This book was so cute. It was written by Alden R. Carter, and the photos in the book were taken by Dan Young and Carol S. Carter. The genre is nonfiction and picture. The reading level is 3rd grade and up. And this was a super cute book about how Dustin was excited for his dad's friend to come to school because his dad's friend was a ventriloquist. So Dustin got to show off to all of his friends that his dad's friend was a ventriloquist who had a performance ready for the entire school. And I really enjoyed this book, and I really liked looking at all the pictures. For my 5th book critique, I chose The Greek and Roman Eras, and this was written by Carme Paris Gloria and Oriel Verghese. The genre is informational, realistic, fiction, picture, and multicultural. The reading level is 4th grade and up, and this was the book all about Greek and Roman eras and what it was like to live back then, and it was very interesting to see how much has changed from back then to now. And I really suggest reading this book if you are interested in the Greek and Roman eras. For the 7th book, I have Last Stop on Market Street, and the author is Matt de la Pena. The illustrator is Christian Robinson. The genre is realistic fiction and picture. The awards was the Newbery Medal and the Caldecott Honor. The reading level is 2nd grade and up. And this was a super cute book about how CJ got to spend all day with his grandma, and his grandma decided to take him all over Market Street so that CJ could see all the different types of markets and all the different ways that things were sold. And I really suggest reading this book. It had a lot of super fun pictures in it. For the 8th book critique, I chose A Ball for Daisy, and I loved the illustrations for this book. They were so cute. And this was written and illustrated by Chris Rashka. The genre is realistic fiction and picture. The awards it was given was a Caldecott Medal. The reading level was 1st grade and up. And this book really shows the love of Daisy's favorite toy, but unfortunately one day a bigger dog broke it. So it just showed how the impact of a toy can really be awful to someone like Daisy because she had her favorite toy ball, but sadly it was broken. So it just shows that children can be attached to some things and then it can be lost. So I thought that this was a good lesson of a book, and it had super cute pictures, which I really enjoyed. And these were my book critiques for this week. Thank you.